Hey Philip, how you doing?
Doing great, Ravi. How are you doing?
Doing well. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure for me.
Philip, I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we met through Clubhouse, right?
Yes, almost a year
Yeah,
back.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, I've heard about you at that point, but I remember when we started this Clubhouse thing. It was a great experiment. Me and Satish Bala from Schoolio, we did like 78 days of consecutive clubhouses, and all these different characters kind of came in, and you were one of the more consistent ones, always kind of hanging out, listening in, but slowly you started becoming out front and talking about things, and that's how we as a community got to learn a bit more about Pumpkin Cart. And now, flash forward a year from now, you can't go to a Brown event that is not servicing Pumpkin Cart, or catered by Pumpkin Cart, or sponsored by Pumpkin Cart, or utilizing Pumpkin Cart in some kind of way. So I appreciate seeing you grow and build out Pumpkin Cart. But I'd love to step it over to you if you can give us a quick introduction on who you are and what Pumpkin Cart is.
Sure, definitely. Thank you so much, man. So Clubhouse is how we met, and that's when I started talking more about Pumpkin Cart in a public space. Because last 2 years has been crazy. No public events happening. The only choice we had was Clubhouse. Or Zoom. So Clubhouse again gave me great opportunity to meet people like you, Satish, Rubanana from the Valley, and a lot more experienced entrepreneurs. And I got to learn a lot from there too. And that's helping me out throughout this journey. So coming on to Pumpkin Cart, so we are a delivery service for everything ethnic. So if you need anything ethnic, you come to our platform. We have a mobile app, iOS and Android, where we service all ethnic products. We started with food delivery as a service for ethnic communities, then slowly expanded to grocery, alcohol. uh, Recently it was meal plan, or you could call us a dabba wala, or the tiffin service, which is very popular in India. That's something which we just launched in May. And 2 weeks back we launched another service, which doesn't have a delivery in it. It's event ticketing. So any ethnic events you have, any music festivals catering to the ethnic communities, we'll be doing the ticketing for the same. So that's very recent for us. So that's our
Uh,
journey so far. We started 2 years back as a small startup, still slowly learning and growing every day.
I love to hear it, especially since I'm not going to name him, but we had a member in the community in on Clubhouse, and I think the express words were, "Why do we need another food delivery app? Isn't that market over? Isn't it already been won?" And everyone kind of took that as like, why is he being particularly rude? But you had a really killer answer to that, because you talked openly about a lot of the problems that ethnic food restaurants have, and how the mainline market does not necessarily service with the best interest of small business owners, especially ones whose entire culture and identity and everything's kind of rolled into their business, right? So something as passionate as a mom and pop like cultural store has a lot of nuance to it. So I think I forgot the exact answer you gave, but I'll leave it over to you. Why start Pumpkin Cart? Why get into a market that is so bustling?
So one fifth of North Americans identify with the foreign ethnic community. Yet there is a staggering gap in accessibility to ethnic products. So I'll give you a small example. All the different community members from different parts of the world, they are scattered in different areas in our city. Let's take GTA as an example. In GTA, and I'll take Tamil as an example. The Tamil community is a very big niche right now, and the Tamil community is spread across the city. But whereas the restaurants catering to these communities, or the pop monsters catering to these communities, are very less and are only in certain geographical areas, which makes it a big problem when it comes to accessibility, getting products. Not just food. When you take grocery, we might have to visit two or three stores to get our actual grocery. If you go to a Walmart or a Metro, you will see one aisle for the South Asian, but that one aisle won't have everything we need for a South Asian household. You have to visit multiple stores to get it. Whereas we solve that problem by just putting it in like in a one place. not just food or grocery. As said, we started with food last year on the clubhouse. It was only food when what we were talking about. Right now we are expanding. We are on a journey to be a super app for everything ethnic. To start with South Asian community, because that's where we belong to, and it was easy to tap into that market, and wanted to help our community members first, and that's where we are heading towards.
I love to hear it. I mean, I think you said it really very succinctly, but one of the underlying gaps that were missed is like how much the food delivery market has kind of shifted. Uber was famous for whenever opening in a new area or a new territory for losing money. Like they're willing to, you know, almost subsidize consumer behavior to allow people to adopt to a new way of doing things. So it was part of their strategy be so cheap that it makes more sense to come on this app to buy your food, order drivers, etc. Than it was to do anything else. But now we're seeing the curve where prices have gone up, and also with inflation going up, everything's gotten more expensive, right? And it kind of for us in the back of the head, like okay, it kind of makes sense, but does it? Like food prices have gone up. Ultimately, gas has gone up. So delivery and getting delivered food, you'd expect almost like a compound of you will, of expenses, and it has. So in the general categories of getting food delivered to you now, like me and my wife notices it's a huge difference in how much it is buying the same things that it was 1 or 2 years ago. So can we talk a little bit more about your model about food delivery, how that works, and how that
Sure.
benefits the actual end restaurants?
Definitely. So there's two stakeholders, the users and the store owners. So both are clientele. So I'll talk about the users first. So on a user perspective, we did also give out a lot of offers when we initially started off. But what we realized on the long run is more than offers, our users, what they were looking was for accessibility to their ethnic products, because not any other platforms are providing that to them, to their doorsteps. So they were ready to pay the premium to get the products delivered. Because if you look at Toronto alone, downtown Toronto is where we have a lot of customers, and the restaurants catering to them are in Scarborough, a different part of the city, which is 20 kilometers away. So in order to deliver to 20 kilometers, we'll have to charge a higher premium delivery charges. But people are ready to pay for it. That's something which I mentioned on the clubhouse last year, because I've seen people buying curry leaves, which would cost $1, and they would pay up to $15 in delivery charges. Same with banana fritters. It's again connecting to their culture and to their home like food. So people are ready to pay for it. But again, from a user perspective and from a business perspective, I came up with an idea of making it accessible for and affordable for our clients. So we came up with a model called Pumpkin Pass. We introduced a Pumpkin Pass. You subscribe on a monthly basis, $20 a month. You get unlimited free deliveries up to 25 kilometers, which is the largest delivery radius anybody in GTA is covering right now. So we deliver up to 25 kilometers at $20 per month, no other hidden fees. And what they get is food, grocery, and alcohol delivered to their doorsteps, unlimited. And when it comes to our merchant side, the merchants pay up to 30 percentage in commission to most of the mainstream delivery partners, and they get a very lower radius to cater to. The mainstream uh, providers, they cater only up to 8 to 10 kilometers, whereas we deliver up to 25 kilometers, and we keep our commission rates lower so that it's affordable for them. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, I mean, I love the way you kind of position that. Um, Yeah, I mean, going back to that particular model, like DoorDash was infamous for creating like the three-sided marketplace. They treated their the customers, the restaurant vendors, and their drivers as each independent drivers on a three-spoke wheel, if you will. And they oftentimes spoke about it as a three-sided marketplace where each of them have a different particular value going into it. So the drivers, they got a ethereal job out of it. You can turn on the app and start driving. You have control over your work privileges, if you will, and that's always promised to contractors. For vendors, the restaurateurs, that it was given a low, cheap model of delivery, and for the consumers, passed down was what you alluded to is that convenience factor of things being delivered right to you, that personalized convenience factor. Um, yeah. So coming back full force to the concept that people will pay for delivery and start this bespoke wheel, and people want to work these kind of work these jobs where delivery is a quick, easy way to make some cash. Oftentimes, outside of normal working hours, or sometimes can be done full time. How do you treat the three spoke wheel?
Yeah. So we also earlier when I mentioned about the two key stakeholders, I'm really sorry I missed out. Are the major the backbone of the company as well, the third stakeholder, which is the drivers. So we keep them as independent contract drivers. They're not a full time employee. They also work on a gig mod. They can, as he said, on DoorDash, they just need to turn it on and they can start driving. We have that model, but apart from that, we also have a different model. So any driver who have uh, like worked with us for at least 3 months, we give them an exclusive offer where they can work on an hourly basis. So we make sure that they're getting paid enough. So we have come up with a model where they get hourly wages, and our wages are pretty decent, and drivers are very happy that there are drivers who have been driving for 2 years, and they don't drive any other platforms during that period. So when it comes to the gig model, where you on and off, they might be taking an order from Pumpkin Card, they might be taking from another provider. So with this model, there is an loyalty factor in there. People just stick with us when we are compensating on a hourly basis. And even recently, the Ontario government had come up with a model asking all the providers to go with a minimum wage at least. So we have been doing this for the past 2 years. We have been giving more than minimum wage, and we are supporting our drivers, and their support is what we require to keep this going. It's pretty crucial for us. So yeah, and we're also trying out few other models. We are planning to partner with a few local delivery service providers whom can provide us drivers on a hourly basis.
Hmm. And what has the feedback been from the vendors, from the actual restaurants that work with you as your partners? Why choose your services on top of other services? Most places have multiple services running at the same time, and there's been a huge need in the space because restaurants have multiple tablets now running different delivery apps. Intake coming in, and places like ghost kitchens now exist where they have multiple tablets because they have multiple restaurants happening in the same location. How does that fit into into a restaurant's forte now? Like, is Pumpkin Cart part of their offerings? Are many restaurants restaurant partners working exclusively through you? Like, what does that look like right now?
So our restaurant partners are very happy with our service because we bring customers which not other delivery aggregators bring. Because most of them focus only on the short mile radius. So we are bringing customers outside the delivery radius of other aggregators, and those are new customers for this services. And apart from that, answer your question about the tablets. Earlier it was too crowded with a lot of tablets, and people are like, I don't want to put another tablet. So there's few companies like Deliveract and Otter. They have come up with solutions where all these platforms can be integrated into just one tablet. So no matter how many providers you have, everything comes to one tablet. And there are a few POS systems coming up with integrations of platforms like us. So we are currently working with Deliveract and other platforms to have Pumpkin Cut integrated as well. And hopefully in a month's time, we'll see that happen. And that would take off the headache of having 10 tablets on your store. And when it comes to tablet, that's a cost for us as well to give a free tablet to the store. So platforms like Delirect makes our life easy when it comes to reducing our cost.
Yeah. I mean, in the future that Uber kind of described, they saw themselves as a blanket platform that people use for all transportation, right? From everyone from getting from point A to B to getting things delivered to you. That'd be like one solution, but it looks like more like a fragmentation. Now there's all these different services, providing through competition options and driving prices lower for the consumer. What does that look like in the future? Like, where do you see this becoming? Do you see this being like different driving apps or different delivery tools that are specialized by region or by the serve clients that they serve? Or do you see like an amalgamation coming, like where like a few players will take the win all situation?
I would say the regional players will take over the mainstream ones very soon. Because that's what's happening. If you look into Uber in India, Uber Eats was acquired by Zomato, which is a regional player, and they're pretty strong in there. The same happened in Brazil for Uber Eats. Rappi took over them, and 2 days back I was reading in news that Ola will be acquiring Uber, the actual Uber in India. So it looks like the regional players are going to be stronger in the future. Looking at our future, we would like to expand globally as well. But again, we are focusing on nations which are strong with immigrant intakes, especially Canada is one major one. We have UK, Australia, and the US as well, where the immigrant count is high. Especially Canada is welcoming another 1.2 million immigrants here. This itself, if it's a very hot market for us to stay in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that kind of model because the way you're saying it's like you're focused on nations with a high immigrant population. Like that's the niche you're kind of playing in. Why the
Yes.
immigrations? Why is the market segment for immigrants different or serviced differently? Can you talk a little more about that space?
So, like every immigrant, even though they land to a new country, at the end of the day, they crave for their home like food, and they are still connected to their culture, and they want to. Uh, sorry, I don't
No
know if it's
worries.
yeah. So they are still connected to their culture, and they want to be connected to their community. So even if they land to a new country, they want all the services which we are providing. Uh, and yeah, looking at another side, the government here is very supportive in terms of bringing in immigrants. Whenever there's a crisis out there, Canadian government as the first, I would say, Canada is the first country which welcomes immigrants when a crisis is happening. You saw that when Ukraine was going through a crisis, Canada stepped up for the Ukrainians out there, and that's something which I love about this country, how welcoming they are. And we see, from a business perspective, I see this as an opportunity, and not just building my business, also an opportunity to give back to the community and help the immigrants when they land here as a newcomer, to help them with setting up uh, like slowly we'll be bringing in services for like a landing package when they land here, starting from their first trip from the airport, their first home, and getting their first meal. So slowly everything related to immigrants will be on our platform. We are working towards that.
I like you mentioned that because there are so many services that are actually built around particularly immigrants and diasporas, because they present a unique market opportunity with unique problems. And like you mentioned, there's unique ways of even marketing to them and the messaging is a little bit different as well. So talking a little bit more about where you're at now. So Uber is being currently being kicked out of Italy. There's like protests happening in Italy about Uber. I was looking up at that on Bloomberg. So as these like you mentioned, these big monopolies kind of fall or are regionalized. How does that look like for your current expansion? Where I know you're going through a front founder campaign right now. Shout out to the front founder team. But could you talk a little more about what your current situation with Pumpkin Cart looks like?
So Pumpkin Cut currently is raising a seed round right now. We did a pre-seed last year with Tangential Ventures, and this year we're doing a seed round, and we're looking at 2.5 million in total seed round, and out of which close to 500K we kept it aside to do an equity crowdfunding through Front Funder. And the
Mm.
campaign, we had a small beta campaign the last month, and an actual campaign is going live this week. Yeah, you can look out on Front Funder website. Our actual a full scale campaign is going to go live, and it's right time that we are having this conversation. Tomorrow you can head out to our LinkedIn page and you can find the campaign links. Feel free to join this journey, because the reason why we took that road of going through crowdfunding is we wanted our community support as well. Institutional VCs are there to support, but apart from that, a validation from the community showing that they supported this business is very crucial for us. And we also wanted to give back to the community while we grow. So every customer or a store owner or a driver who is associated with us get an opportunity to be part of this journey by getting shares from us. And in one way we are rewarding back once we grow. They're also getting some perks out of it. So that's the reason why we thought of choosing crowdfunding as a platform for us. And when you are looking at the bigger picture, when it comes to expansion, since we are again focused only on the niche market, I don't think we are going with a monopoly like other players are doing in capturing the whole mainstream market. We are just looking at the niche, but the niche is pretty big right now. In North America alone, we are looking at 50 million, close to 50 million immigrants. So that niche is big, and we are not disturbing the mainstream market completely, and we're not competing with, or we're not trying to have a monopoly in here. We're just looking at catering the needs of the niche market.
Yeah. Can you talk a bit more about the Front Founder? Because we've had a few, many Front Founder companies that come through here that raise capital to the Front Founder, or currently raising capital, and that model is really unique, right? For a founder to go out and run that. Could you talk a bit more about raising equity funding and how that's impacted your business?
Sure. When it comes to a VC funding, it's pretty tough to get into, especially being a first-time founder. You don't get easy access to all the VCs. You keep sending out cold emails. You try to connect with your mentors to give you introductions, and it's a time taking process, and it's not always you get a VC funding. There is a lot of factors involved in there, and there is a little luck required and a lot of networking required. Being first time founders, it is pretty challenging. We were lucky enough to get one investor last year, but again, that took me almost 1 year to close that round or to get them on board, because 1 year I'd been sending cold emails. We are like, I've seen a lot of rejections in my life, especially with Pumpkin Card. The first 1.5 years, we were rejected by all the accelerator programs, all incubators, all angel investors, all VCs. And I don't mind telling about my rejections. I'm happy about my rejections, because it's because of my rejections I'm still sitting in front of you here after 2 years. That gave me the strength to keep moving forward. But more apart from the rejections, we also got some positive notes as well, like world's best accelerator program, Y Combinator, had chosen us for the interview round. So 10 percentage of their applicants every year from the 20,000 they select for interview rounds, and we were fortunate enough to make it to that. And small happiness like that also gave us the push to keep moving forward. And coming on to Front Funder is a really great platform for any Canadian startup to do their funding, because you need to have a slight revenue, like you need to be post revenue to start raising funds. But if you show them that you are a product market fit, they will give you the opportunity, and the process is very seamless. The team at Front Funder is super. Starting from the CEO to all the employees working out there has been very helpful. You won't feel any difficulty in putting up your campaign going live. There's a time frame for that. They will give you step by step instructions on what needs to be done. The due diligence is taken care of by them. Anything legal support you need, they take care of everything for you. So I would recommend Front Funder as a platform for raising in Canada. Uh, I know in US there's other platforms, but for Canadian startups, if you are at your early stages, feel free to reach out to me, or you can directly reach out to Front Funder if you need to get your company listed and start getting funding there.
Yeah. Um,
And
I love that you said. Sorry.
sorry, Ravi is the one who helped me with getting into Front Fund at the first place, because during the clubhouse conversations he always mentioned about the company which he was helping with, where they were doing a Front Funder campaign live at that point, I guess, while we had this conversation at clubhouse, right? And
Yeah,
yeah, the team at Bluemix had been helping us out with setting up this campaign as well. Thank you,
I
Ravi.
appreciate.
Mention that here.
Yeah, I appreciate the shout out, Philip. Yeah, I mean, part of like utilizing media is ability to connect different sources together, and you get to see patterns emerge. And one of the patterns that we love seeing is that the early stage companies who traditionally have found it really hard to raise capital, especially in Canada, which is a very conservative investment climate, is how to get the foot in the door. And front founder and equity crowdfunding has been a way to like get that first cash infusion to show that there is a fit. And this idea that your power users or your most frequent customers or your partners can buy into your business through equity fundraising, like as little as $100 they can put in, and you can crowdsource from your community that has grown up around you. So
Yeah.
I think it's a very powerful signal for a lot of companies, early stage companies, to be like, hey, look at how strong we built our community. Our users don't just use our tools. Our partners are not just partnering with us; they're buying into us and believe in the vision, and that helps solidify the next VC to come in and be like, okay, you have all this validation kind of built into you. Going into the VC and the raising climate. So things have kind of changed recently for tech companies. A lot of companies have pointed to like struggling to raise capital and VCs not being as liquid anymore. And then on the other side, there are companies who already have revenue coming in the door. They're revenue positive. They have cash flow. They're seeing a different type of ways of utilizing their capital to raise capital from other markets.
Yeah.
Raise to I forgot the exact terminology they utilize, but dialing back down to that, there's alternate capital forms that are coming into play, right? So,
Yeah.
in a high growth environment like the food delivery market, where it's a very capital burn kind of incentive growth strategy. How do you look about capitalizing yourself? Do you see this as an environment that's still positive for early stage investment and to grow an early stage company, or are you looking for alternative ways of fundraising yourself?
Yeah, I like that question very much because last 2 weeks we have been going through the same question through in our internal meetings, and what we figured out as fundraising is right now it's a tricky situation to be in. The markets is not very favorable for fundraising, but I feel this as an opportunity again to look at alternative ways on getting this going. And my mentality or my team's mentality is that we never give up. What the situation is, we would like to turn all those challenges into opportunities. And right now, I feel I'm not very of what do you call going behind VCs every day, knocking doors, asking for money. Right now, I'm looking and making how the alternative ways of bringing more revenue through the services we have. So that's why like we are innovating ways here. We came up with a we moved away from just being a food delivery app to a journey to a super app right now, because the super app journey is opening up more verticals for us, more revenue streams, and all these revenue streams we are just duplicating the platform we have, and we are not burning a lot of extra money. Our what do you call, our expenses are currently fixed, our revenues are growing. So we feel that we don't actually need to do a big fundraise right now. Till last month I was like, oh, we need to raise this 2.5 million, or else how do we have a runway? And I met with a person. I don't want to take his name without his consent, but he'll be slowly joining as an advisor on a platform, and he opened up the what do you call, the ways for us. So we have opened up like channels like B2B. We are now catering to corporates. So those are fixed income. You have monthly going on, or yearly contracts, and we also are looking into few other sectors where we can utilize the customers or the data we have right now to bring more revenue stream to our platform. Till a few months back we were just focusing on how we make revenue through the channels like food delivery or grocery delivery, and we were burning a lot of money. I would say we have burned close to 300 plus k and money and bringing customers on board. But now what I have learned the hard way to run And thanks to mentors like Kulana and Vijay, they have been very supportive. Early days, I didn't take their advices very well. I would say I was like, "Oh, I am the school dude, startup founder. I know everything." Kind of attitude. I have to admit that that was my first 6 months. I'm like, "Oh, I have did my research myself." But I went back to my mentors and I'm like, "Oh, I was wrong. I need your mentorship." And I learned it the hard way by burning a lot of money in the first place, to realize that you don't have to burn a lot of money to build a sustainable business, and you don't have to always fundraise in order to keep this going. And I think most of the founders are realizing that right now with this situation. When challenges are thrown at you, you innovate. You come up with more innovative ways to keep it going, surviving, or even expanding. You will come up with the innovative ways. I don't right now I cannot share those information in detail here in public, but we have found ways where we feel will be positive and like break even very soon.
Yeah. So I love that transparency there, because the idea of like that super app is very compelling, because it's almost like that the idea of the SaaS model of like just doing one razor thin thing and like scaling that infinitely is super tough to navigate through. I think as we go more into Web 3.0, people are becoming more tribal and they're trying to look for like platforms that can service multiple things for them. Starting from the food delivery and engaging with like with local your ethnic traditions. I think there's a lot to expand from that particular market, especially as globally the immigrant crisis is coming to play. Right, I think there's 2 billion people that are going to be affected by climate change, forest fires, rising waters, receding waters, and all these different things in the next 10 years. So 2 billion people are going to have to navigate and be dispersed across wider areas. So those 2 billion different people who need to have some cultural identity, and have some ties there, spreading to different nationalities and having to maintain their identity. So I think there's a lot of growth here in this particular field, unfortunately, coming from a bad place. We've gone to a place where climate change is not going to be changed by us, right? It's got to be survived by us. And part of that is expecting that the situation could get worse before it gets better. So on that note, like, what does the future look like for Pumpkin Cart? Where do you see yourself growing into?
uh, you put into me looking at the climate change and this future for the world itself. It's going to be pretty challenging. Like we need to come up, even now are like we are taking small baby steps in terms of helping make the world a better place, but still there's a lot more to be done. Especially from our pumpkin carts perspective, what we are doing this year is getting on to all our merchants to stop using plastic bags. That's something which we are doing as a first step. We are going to provide free paper bags to our merchants. We have come up with an idea where we can have branded bags given to our merchants, stop them using from the plastic bags, because when it comes to paper bags it's pretty expensive for them. So we are replacing that for them at free of cost. And not just that, even biodegradable plates, biodegradable cups, all these are options. We are working with few brands where we'll have pumpkin guard will be providing with our merchants. We have more than 300 merchants just in GTA right now. And looking at the North American market, we are looking at more than 50,000 just the South Asian restaurants here. So that's something which we are looking to capture in the next couple of years. And we are always looking at sustainable ways to uh, help give back to the community. And we have a loyalty program which is pretty interesting, which nobody has done in the past. We have partnered with Metrolinx, or the TTC's parent company. We are yet to make an official announcement. Will be coming very soon. But we have been doing a loyalty program with the Presto card for the past 2 years. So anytime you make a purchase through Pumpkin Card, you earn points, which then you can redeem as a free bus ride. So we want people to use the public transit more and reduce the carbon footprint. So that's something which we have been doing from day one. That was actually my first, not just mine, like our team's first idea, bus miles, where you earn points to get free bus rides. So those are few steps taken by Pumpkin Cart, and the future, we want our kids to be safe and sound. So we are taking all baby steps what we could from our ability, and making sure that the world is a better place to live.
Yeah. I like how you mentioned that, all these small steps you can do, especially engaging with your partners, and that all that kind of accumulates. In terms of, like, 5, 10, 20 years from now, a pumpkin card as a brand, as an identity, where do you see that being taken? Do you see yourself operating across multiple markets, or focusing on particular areas? You talked about a super app. Anything you can share about where your growth strategy looks like?
So in the next 10 years, we are looking to be in different parts of the world. As mentioned earlier, we are looking at all the continents where the immigrant influx is there. Our presence will be there. That's what we are looking at. On a bigger picture, we are building a super app for immigrants around the world. So Middle East is a big market with a lot of immigrants in there. I would say in Dubai alone, if you look at the immigrant population, it would be more than 70%. So those are the markets which we are looking at our long-term goals to acquire. So on a broader picture, we are looking to put our footprint in different parts of the world. And again, we'll be sticking on to the niche. Not just the South Asian community, will be open to all the immigrant communities. South Asian is something which we started with, but we have started looking onto other communities as well, because I was part of the LATAM accelerator program for newcomers. And while during that program is when we realized that this problem is not just faced by the South Asian immigrants, faced by all immigrants. Because when we started, we thought it is going to be a super app for South Asians alone, but later, when we got into the LATAM program, that's when we realized the LATAM community also faces the same problem. And while talking to another community, the Caribbean community, again realized this is a massive problem faced by all communities. So we will be open to all immigrants, but again, on a broader, there's one another mission which I like our team wants to accomplish, is taking all these ethnic products mainstream as well. The mainstream audience, they know, when you talk about Indian food, they know butter chicken and naan, and up to some extent there are people which knows biryani to the most, but they don't know beyond that. If you take Tamil cuisine, kotroti is very popular among the Tamil community. If you take
Hmm.
Kerala community, there's appam and curry, there's parota and curries available. Every community has its own unique dishes, but those are not popular among the mainstream. The mainstream people would love it. It's just the lack of awareness. So in the long run, we want to bring that awareness to the mainstream as well, but that's a again a long term goal. There's a lot of educating required, and even through our platform, we are trying to slowly start conveying that message. If we are having blogs and vlogs which we are building to get the word out to the mainstream as well. Because since the different communities are living here in different parts of the world, like even the mainstream audience have started to mingle with the different cultured people, and they want to learn and get adapted to them and be friends with them. So they are trying to understand their language, get more deep insights about the culture. Recently, I had an opportunity to speak with the CEO of Language Curry. So, Language Curry, what they do is they teach Indian languages through their platform. And we're looking at a possible collaboration where Language Curry is going to be inside Pumpkin Cart app. Uh, or and vice versa. We'll be doing cross promotion. So again, the mainstream audience, if they want to learn more about the culture, get get to learn more about the languages, have Language Curry on board with us. So again, the super app journey, what we want is to have platforms like Language Curry and any platforms which would help immigrants to come onto our platform, and vice versa as well. helping each other rather than just building a monopoly. I'm a person who love partnerships, so I would like to partner rather than compete with other brands out there.
I love that. You definitely are a partnership king. Yeah, Philip, thank you so much for your time coming on and talking about Pumpkin Cart.
No problem.
I love seeing you come full circle, especially from talking to you in those early clubhouse days, and now seeing you at events, with booths and oftentimes working with your food delivery partners in the field. I think one of my deliveries that you came and dropped it off yourself, so appreciate that personalization there. Anything we can do here, I'd love to support. But how can people find you? How can people support you who are listening in?
Sure. Like in terms of finding Pumpkin Card, it's very simple. You just need to go to the Play Store or App Store. You can type in Pumpkin Card. It's right here. Card with a K. You just type in, and our apps are available. And we also have a website, pumpkincard.com. Only food delivery is available through the website right now, and event ticketing. The rest, all categories, we are bringing slowly to the website. But our app is very powerful. And while talking about the app, I should have mentioned this at the first place. My two wonderful co-founders I have, Vishal Varghese, who leads our tech. Vishal and I are like we are close buddies. We went to university together and known each other for 2 years. He is our technology king. He handles everything tech. So the super app we have right now is built by him, and he's the genius behind it. And all the creative side you see, starting from the logo to all the color branding, all our social media posts is taken care of by Sanla Sebastian. She handles our marketing. She's a marketing head, and she's also my wife, a partner in life and partner in business. We three have been friends for 12 years. Sanla came to the picture 9 years back, but we know known each other for a long period now. And I've been working in small projects. So sorry, Ravi, I changed the question a bit here, but it will be very unfair if I don't mention them because if Pumpkin Cut is there, it's because of the team. Not just three of us. We had a few of our friends who came at early on board with us. To name a few, Akhilesh and Rise are two of my good friends. They just came to support me. Akhilesh came the first day to my office and like, Philip, let me help you. I'll be your first driver. Like he is a mechanical background guy. He's like, I just wanted to help you. I know you are doing something, and I want to help you get off the road. So Akhilesh and Royce, they both came as uh, drivers to help me with, and later Akhilesh became my sales head. He brought all the 100 merchants on board to me in the first 3 months. Same with
Wow.
Rice brought 1,000 drivers to my platform. Rice
Wow.
became my operations head. They just came as good friends who were my roommates in the past. They came all the way to help me out. And another one is Tessa. She's still with us. Tessa came in as an intern during her college days, and she is right now handling our corporate and vendor relationships. So all these names I should take because I've never spoken on a podcast before, and when I speak, I shouldn't be missing them out because what we have right now and what we are going to build is because of the team which have supported us and who are with us right now.
I love that. I mean that is so awesome. Okay, you know what? I wish we had some more time to dive into those stories because I feel like there's a lot of builder stories there.
Yeah.
But however, we'll cut that for part two. Philip, thank you so much for coming on. Again, everyone can find Pumpkin Cart in the Apple and Play stores and at the website pumpkincart. Is it .com?
Pumpkincart.com, cart with a K. And for our Glomax listeners, we would like to give a special offer. The first 3 months, we would like to give free deliveries out to try us out. So today evening after 5 p.m., we'll have the code live. You can use Bluemax. You just go to download our app, go to the profile section. There is a section called Pumpkin Pass. You can choose that, and on the promo code section, you can add Bluemax, and you get 3 months of your deliveries, whether it be food, grocery, or alcohol, we'll get it delivered for free. And
Wow,
apart from that, there is first you use, I believe the code is first 10, and you get a $5 off on your first two orders. So that's to
that's
all the
amazing.
Blue Max listeners listening right now.
That's amazing. Yeah, you heard it here, guys. Go ahead and go ahead and claim that. So download the app, go to Pumpkin Pass, and BlueMex is the code. Thank you so much, Phil. Thank you for the code, and thank you for all the time.
Thank you very much for hosting us. And it's, again, as mentioned, it's my first podcast, first time going live. I was pretty nervous, but this guy makes it very easy. It's just a conversation between two people. And thank you so much, Ravi, for making this so comfortable. And thank you so much to the